Hey everybody, Wolf Lord Rho here. Before I begin today, a huge thank you to Stashu for the virtual gift voucher. Apologies if I'm not pronouncing that one correctly. Huge thank you my friend for the support, it is truly appreciated, thank you. I absolutely love to hear when people listen to my videos with their family, so it's great to hear you listen with your sons. And again, a huge thank you for the support. But on to today. Today we're talking the Grey Knights and asking, has the time come for them to embrace the Primaris? General spoiler warning to begin, as we will be discussing events from across the Warhammer 40k universe, so you have been warned. But with that said, let's just jump straight in. So a few weeks back now, we received that teaser trailer for an upcoming Grey Knight vs Tzeentch box set, and I couldn't help but wonder if the time has come for Primaris Grey Knights. Ordinarily, the question of a chapter assuming Primaris recruits is not much of a topic of discussion these days. Even the Death Watch and the most stubborn of chapters, such as the Flesh Tearers, now find the Primaris commonplace within their ranks. However, as we know, the Grey Knights are far from your standard chapter. So the question is not just should they have Primaris, but could they? Well, let's get the obvious elephant in the room out of the way straight away. Primaris Grey Knights means a whole host of new possible models, which also means a lot more sales. So from a purely business sense, it's surely just a matter of time. However, what about the lore? Well, that is a much more interesting discussion. So let's begin with could. As we know, it was through the efforts of Belisarius Cawl that the Primaris Marines came to be, having been entrusted in the aftermath of the heresy with the gene seed of all 18 Primarchs. Though he was forbidden from utilising the traitor legions, whether or not he listened to that, however, is up to you to decide. The Grey Knights, of course, are unique when it comes to their gene seed, as they are not descended from a Primarch, but the Emperor of Mankind himself. Now for me, I find it incredibly hard to believe Guilliman would have had access to Grey Knight's gene seed, let alone hand it over to Belisarius. Firstly, Titan was still shrouded within the warp in the aftermath of the heresy. We will find out for certain during the Scouring series if there are any retcons to come. However, as it stands, the Grey Knights chapter was still building the strength it needed to emerge as the hammer of the Inquisition. And secondly, perhaps more importantly, the Inquisition is very secretive, and I'm talking more secretive than Alfarius and the Lion combined. They learnt their lessons from Malcador the Sigillite well. Even if Guilliman was the Lord Commander of the Imperium, I think we can be fairly sure they wouldn't have revealed or released any Grey Knight gene seed. Like the Ecclesiarchy, these branches of the Imperium are simply so powerful that in truth they answer to no one, even a Lord Commander. To truly confront either would really to be risking a civil war of unprecedented scale. Now admittedly they were not as powerful 10,000 years ago, but the premise in regards to its secrets remain the same. However, that said, that was 10,000 years ago, and Guilliman's Primaris are now the dominant force across the galaxy. They now easily outnumber the firstborn Marines of old. There could be a very good reason for saying the Grey Knights and Inquisition would be very impressed with their obvious results, especially considering the Death Watch have already embraced the Primaris. So it definitely could happen. The only real stumbling block I foresee in this area is 1. The thought of Belisarius experimenting on the Grey Knight gene seed. Again, this isn't gene seed of a legion. This is crafted directly from the Emperor himself, referred to as the Emperor's gift. I can imagine a great deal of hesitancy from the Grey Knights at the thought of allowing Khal access to their gene seed. I'm not saying they would doubt his loyalty in particular, more so it's just the thought of allowing anyone access to their gene seed. It is undoubtedly one of the most prized treasures in the entire Imperium. And 2, let's be honest, in truth the Grey Knights are really akin to the saying of if it's not broke, don't fix it. They are already the elite at what they do, fighting demons. Each of them is a psychic master, more powerful than any librarian from the regular chapters. They simply don't need to upgrade to Primaris recruits, unless maybe we use the reasoning that in light of current events, we're seeing a mass expansion of the Grey Knight chapter. And that is a route I'd like to see it go. The Primaris work for the most part because the existing Marines and chapters are simply being overwhelmed. The need for their aid was constant, and they simply couldn't pause to replenish their losses. The Primaris arrived as the solution to this problem. That doesn't quite work for the Grey Knights. To have them on their knees and reeling kind of diminishes them in my mind. They are the elite of the elite, at least when it comes to combating the tide of chaos demons. It's the very reason why they exist. Never has the need for their aid been greater than it is now. So the Primaris being integrated into the Grey Knights in an expansion effort, now that makes the best sense for me. As the Cicatrix Maledictum spirals out of control across the galaxy, and the flood of demons comes like never before, the Grey Knights need to meet it in numbers like they have never had. And that is where the Primaris could come in. So should it happen? Well, as we said at the start, we know in likelihood it is inevitable. And from a model range perspective, I think yes. I think we'd all love to see the Grey Knights receive some love. From a lore perspective, to be honest, I'm happy for either. On the one hand, the thought of the Grey Knights already being the perfect creation, not wanting or needing to meddle with the Emperor's gift, does have a nice feel to it. It would give the Grey Knights a nice air of superiority, which admittedly since the arrival of the Primaris, they have lost a little of their shine. So letting them come out and say we don't need to be Primaris, we're already better, that would give them some nice arrogance as well as that little bit of shine. However, on the other hand, an expansion of their ranks also makes good sense from a story narrative. If it's replacement, then I would say no. However, using the expansion logic, now that idea I like. And I think there's a fascinating story waiting to be told. of Belisarius being given access to the fabled gene seed of the Grey Knights, him being able to see the Emperor's gift, the finest of the Emperor's work outside the creation of the Primarchs. You could have him being brought to Titan, the inner sanctum of the Grey Knights themselves. Any and all work that Belisarius would need to do would have to happen within the Grey Knight sanctum, and under the closest guard. There's no way they would entrust any of their gene seed to be sent outside their walls, let alone to be experimented on across the galaxy by a tech priest of the Mechanicum no less. Man, that would be a fascinating story that I would just love to read. It would absolutely have to be given a novel treatment, really fleshing it out other than just a paragraph mention in a codex. Imagine Kaldor Drago's reaction when returning and seeing these new Grey Knights. How would he react? Could the decision be made in his absence? These would all make up fascinating threads of that larger story that we would hopefully get to read. Because again, I really do feel this is a plot point that deserves a larger narrative. And man, it is definitely one I am looking forward to reading. But as always guys, what do you think? Will the Grey Knights receive the Primaris treatment? And do you think they should? Or are you on the other side of the fence? As always, leave your thoughts in the comments below, I love to read them. Huge thank you to all my subscribers, your support truly means a lot to me, it really does. And if you're new, please consider subscribing to help the channel grow. And if you enjoyed this particular vid, then why not drop a like on it too. But with that said, I am off and I'll see you all again real soon.